All right, hello, welcome back. We are playing more Hades.
Let's try this again.
We had to abandon not only a run but a recording session due to upgrade errors.
Yeah.
And that was fine because I had nothing of value to say.
There were also yap errors.
I had a major flub, so we got to skip that one as well. I basically queued us up to talk about the Xbox Games Showcase, which we both watched with a lot of hesitation.
Oh.
Yeah, we won't be even trying to say the word I said before. I don't know, like, we were talking about this in the Summer Games Fest video, too. Like, I don't know anybody that owns a modern Xbox. I feel like I just never even hear about it. I don't know what games it has.
No games.
None of... It doesn't seem like it will have games going forward. Like, they announced a lot of games, but they were all, like, PC games, too.
Yeah.
I
mean,
can't
that's,
remember, like, any that were Xbox exclusive.
That's been part of their strategy, is just, like, either, like... Because there are tons of people who, like, still don't want to own a PC, but, like, you can just double dip and try to get as many people in the Game Pass as possible. Offering the same stuff.
Yeah, we talked about this before, too, that, like, Game Pass wants to be Netflix. And essentially just hook in so many people and make them so dependent on this service that they can't imagine life without it, and then they like jack up the price.
Yeah.
Is what I imagine they're going through. And will it work though? There's a lot of games they announced. Are any of them any good?
I feel like... I don't know. It's like... At the time when they like bought Bethesda or like ZeniMax or whatever, it was like, man, they might really manage to make this stuff work. But then Starfield was just like a total nothing.
Yeah. If Starfield was a hit on the level of like Skyrim, things would probably look very, very different.
Like, and the issue with that is both down to expectations and also the fact that just like people don't... That type of game isn't in favor like it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, it's like, oh, well, we had all these unique studios like Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin and whatever, and we just shuttered them unceremoniously days ago.
Yeah. All right, but let's talk about a franchise that is still... How could it not be at its peak? How could people have ever soured on this enduring format? Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Oh, yeah, that was...
They started the conference with this, and I just remember feeling like, could we stop watching this?
Whatever, it's freaking Call of Duty, I don't know.
It just looks so evil, like...
Yeah, every time the wars get more modern, it's like, this is gonna be even more, like, dark revisionist history than the last time.
Yeah. It feels like now they're getting into stuff that, even if I didn't quite live through it, I certainly lived through, like, the immediate direct ramifications of. And I have, like, you know, personal memories of thinking, wait, this is bullshit, we're getting lied to. And now the game has been made, like, 20 years later, and it's continuing to lie to us. I don't know, the whole thing is just, like, very evil, very ugly to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty, like, gross project overall, from like, a political standpoint. I'm just like, well, the military gives us money, and then every time it's just like, most realistic gameplay ever. You are in these awesome locales that the U.S. military is in for a good reason.
And then it's always like, root out corruption from within the U.S. military. Because the U.S. military project as a whole is good and great, and anything that bad happens is due to corruption and shady actors within it. And I think that's even more, like, insinuous, right?
Yeah, insidious?
Like, oh my god. Restart the episode! Because I think it would be, you know, if it was just, like, purely idealized and it was just raw jingoism, then at least it would be, like, clearly just a fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they try to make it, like, gritty and there's evil on both sides... And, oh, you know, this guy is using the army for personal gain. What a abhorrent anomaly in an otherwise good system. It's like, no, that's actually the complex perspective is much more wrong than like a simple perspective where the US government is just like a huge agent for evil and does nothing good for anyone.
All that stuff is a feature and not a bug.
Uh-huh. Anyways, you got a lot of money. Why'd you choose to take money?
I don't know, I just felt like it.
Alright. I don't know if there's some specific thing you were hoping to buy.
No, I just don't have a lot of money. I got a thing
I
that
feel
is
ya.
going to give us more money after a few encounters from Chaos, but I was just like, might as well get some now. I could have taken Darkness for the mana progression, which is probably like the smart play, but I don't know. We're just trying to get to 10 wins here.
I feel like this run's got potential. You got
Maybe.
decent DPS, it looks like.
Normal special is not a great start, but I mean, if we can get like a good attack instead, then we can just kind of pivot.
Mm-hmm.
There's some stuff we can do.
Alright, the next game they showed, Doom the Dark Ages.
Yeah, that looks
actually
cool.
looks pretty cool.
That looks tight. Those games are really sick, and I want to play them.
I feel like it's like really remarkable that Doom went from like the primordial FPS and just this like kind of standard of game engineering, and then what, like 30 years later managed to totally reinvent itself as like this modern game that's now about like cutting edge, you know, visuals and crazy guns and abilities and stuff. And it's like still totally beloved, you know?
I mean, it's
like...
still just like Doom. Like, it's still the same game. It's just now like modern looking.
I suppose so. Well, the original Doom, like, it's the same in that they're both kind of like movement shooters, I guess, where you
Yeah.
go really fast and you're like a rampaging agent of death. It's just that in the original, it was like 2D, you know? Like,
Yeah, but it's like even the way you move is still like similar to that. I don't know. They're cool games.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
like the only shooters that come out now that I see and go, wow, that looks like fun.
Yeah, it did look like fun. There was like cool things happening and you
Yeah.
were moving quickly.
Having their like Doom Army of Darkness.
And there was no footage of Saddam Hussein.
Boo! Boo! There should be more footage of Saddam Hussein.
And then, let me tell you the emotional journey I went on watching this trailer. It showed, you know, a guy just like me and was talking about how, oh, we don't really know each other. You don't really know who your comrades are
Oh,
until
this.
they're gone. And I was like, oh shit, I'm being touched on such a human level. But in fact, it was a zombie game. And I couldn't believe that they had managed to try to tell such a human story in the zombie genre. I don't think that's ever been done before. Have you ever heard of a game called Dead Island?
No. That game doesn't exist anymore, you see.
It blows my, like,
Yeah,
I was just
that trailer
cracking
was
me
like
up.
the biggest deal ever in like 2010.
It was, yeah, it was 2010. It was like 15 years ago. They had this idea of doing like a really sappy, sentimental trailer in a zombie game. And then they just haven't had like a second idea after that. And they'll just keep doing it until the end of time. I just don't understand. Like, I guess I'm just too disconnected because all of them look exactly the same to me. All of these zombie games.
I mean, this one didn't even have like any gameplay to give you an idea of what it's gonna be like. If it's gonna be like a Left 4 Dead thing or like a Dying Light or some of those other like popular ones. There's like a couple modes it could go in.
That's true, yeah. There's a couple
But
subgenres.
instead it was just like, and you're gonna care so much, but like, there's like a good chance it's just like a multiplayer live service game.
Yeah. I mean, odds are it is. Speaking of that, the next one they showed was Dragon Age: The Veilguard,
That was
which
weird.
I thought was a hero shooter.
That was so weird.
It's maybe like the most misdirecting trailer of all time, where the game is still just an RPG, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's why it's just like really fucking strange that it's like this.
are they trying to trick people into thinking it's a multiplayer game where they get to play as one of these heroes that each have personality and ability?
I saw people talking about who got to like preview the gameplay and stuff and say it does still have like a, I don't know, like a darker tone to it, and there's still like serious stuff going on, but like the trailer was just so like lighthearted and strange, and like also with the change from being Dreadwolf to Veilguard, and it was like, wasn't the whole draw of like the end of Inquisition that you were like, holy shit, the Dreadwolf is fucking coming, this is crazy.
Is the Dreadwolf like a big wolf?
I don't know. I've just
that's
been like,
sick.
I've been loosely just told that like what is what. I'm not a Dragon Age expert. I will say they've had weird trailers before. The Dragon Age Origins trailer is like weird bullshit set to like a fucking new metal song or something.
Sure,
like,
sure.
I think just the marketing and the actual gameplay is kind of like a one hand doesn't know what the other's doing.
Yeah, and it's like, to an extent, it, you know, very much quote-unquote makes sense, because they have a player base that is their Dragon Age fans that are just going to play each new entry and like RPGs and like that sort of gameplay. And then they're probably like, any additional people we can pick up, we have to just kind of like trick them. Because they haven't been interested yet. They might not be interested in like an RPG.
I definitely have a suspicion that it was just like, just because of how badly run BioWare has been, and like how badly EA in general manages their studios, I could see it as just like X, Y, and Z things were really successful in Baldur's Gate 3. We need these in our game right fucking now.
Yeah. It feels like the tone they were trying to go for kind of like the D&D movie, where it's like, look at this quirky cast of lovable rogues.
Yeah, I think
let's
all,
see
like,
each of them make a little quip and turn.
All Western fantasy stuff now is kind of like crested past wanting everything to be like Game of Thrones, and now they want everything to be like Critical Role.
Yeah. Those are very well summarized, the eras that we're working with and the era shift that we're working with. Can you imagine if the new Game of Thrones book comes out and everybody's just like making quips at each other?
I mean, like, Game of Thrones is funny. They have funny characters who are always saying sort of pithy comments, but like...
No, but I mean like Whedon wrote it. Like, it becomes like 800 times worse.
That would just be funny. I don't know.
George R. R. Martin goes, well, it seems to be what people want.
People didn't want the shit I told them to do for the show, so I made it funny. Beast mode.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm like... I've always been interested in the series, so I have to get into it at some point, but I'm at least like... For like Olivia, who was like pretty devastated watching that trailer, and was just like, oh god, what have they done? We'll see, you know?
I just found it funny that I really did think it was like a fantasy hero shooter, because that sounds like something that they would make. And I wasn't the only one. I saw that article that was like, why does the new Dragon Age look like a hero shooter?
Yeah.
It's bad, man. Oh, this is an interesting one. The Hat Man Shadow Universe.
That's not real.
No, remember? We saw the Hat Man. It was Xbox exclusive. Play it day one Game Pass.
Play it, dude. Shut the fuck up. You fucking liar.
No, okay. Starfield Shattered Space.
Oh, yeah, like spooky Starfield update.
Yeah. That seemed like an odd pivot to me.
Maybe it'll be cool, I don't know.
Because, I don't know, like, I don't really know much about Starfield, honestly, but my brief impression is that they're kind of going for, like, a Star Trek sort of feel. Where it's like...
I don't know what they were going for.
You're kind of just, like, exploring and stuff, and... You know,
it feels like
the planets.
Even the people who were excited for Starfield were just like, I can't wait to play more mid-slop. That was like an actual term I saw getting thrown around.
Like by
people who were like, oh man, I can't wait for Starfield to come out. So I don't know.
Huh. That's
like, I think those people had a better time than people who were like, this is gonna be the best game ever. Skyrim was such a reset for me. I love Fallout 4. This game's gonna rock. And then it was just like not very
It's
good.
mid-slop. Yeah. But if you just wanted mid-slop, you got mid-slop.
Yeah, if you just wanted like the things Bethesda games are good at, then you got it.
Well, I mean, there's nothing more mid-slop than, like, horror. That's, if you set your expectations for that, then horror is, like, the most rewarding genre ever. Because it's,
Yeah,
like,
it
that
is.
or better. So I guess it's a good fit to have, like, a spooky expansion.
It's, like, weird, but I don't know. Could be good.
There's a Fallout 76 expansion.
Oh, yeah, the ad they had for that was cute. Doing, like, an old
Oh,
school
yeah,
telethon
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I actually quite like
That
that.
does that a lot.
I just like when they mix it up at all. Because otherwise, all of these trailers are, like, the same. It's either super gravitas with a somewhat obscured at the start cover of a popular alt-rock song that kind of comes in force halfway through the trailer, and it's like, my wife died, my kid died, and now we're in a post-apocalypse.
Take back your destiny. Find your son. And loot in up to 4-player local co-op. Or 24-player online multiplayer.
Or it's like 8 different dudes who each get a turn doing quips. And it's like, you get to be one of these guys and loot with up to 4 other players, or 24-player online multiplayer. And it's either one of those two things, and they're both, like, very tedious and not at all exciting. So anything that's different, I definitely praise. Speaking of which, I actually... Okay, we were just talking about this before the video, but this Expedition 33 game, I want to remain optimistic.
I am intrigued, but also it kind of looks like poo.
The premise seems very stupid. It sounds like the premise of a manga on MangaDex that has like a 7.2 out of 10. But at least it's like something. The premise is that there's this painter witch woman who paints a big
feels
number.
Like a very stupid, like YA type premise.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think
It's
that
very
mixed with just
YA
the
core.
fact that I find like a lot of Western RPG aesthetics like really fucking ugly.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know about this one. I'm like, that's not. I'm not like even a Japanese RPG purist in that way. Like,
No.
Everything needs to look like Atelier. I'm just like, I don't know. It looks like muddy.
It looks like kind of this new generic style, which, like, I think at first people wanted it to be, like, very bold. Where it's just sort of, like, grotesque things and, like, very kind of, like, detailed things. And a lot of designs that are, like, kind of, like, horror adjacent, you know? And I think a lot of Souls-like games have kind of adopted this aesthetic.
Yeah, I think people are very into that, like, sort of grotesque stuff, and I love it, obviously, but it's just, like, it never feels that interesting in these sorts of games.
Yeah, like, this one, nothing really stood out to me as, like, whoa, that design is crazy, or, like, that was genuinely unsettling or anything.
Yeah.
It felt very much like, well, we need to appeal to this sort of crowd, so let's get some real creepy-looking doodads to fight. What makes me interested, though, is that it's a turn-based RPG.
Yeah. And it's honestly, it's the exact type of game that I would get a month of Game Pass to play.
Yeah! But day one Game Pass, baby!
I don't know if I'd even play it day one, but just at some point.
But yeah, it's like, the fact that they made it not a Souls-like and instead made it a turn-based RPG, I'm like, there must be something behind this.
Yeah,
like, there must be some vision.
Less Souls-likes is definitely sort of something that I appreciate.
Yeah, that's definitely one of
Even
the
as someone
genres
who's,
right
like,
now.
I was saying, like, a pretty huge fan of FromSoft games. I'm just like, their imitators are so bad.
Yeah, with rare exceptions.
Feels like basically Lies of P and like Neo, and Neo is so different that it's like almost like a different genre. Like Lies of P is the only one that's like a full-on imitator that I have like anyone I trust has spoken positively about. That and like the Surge 2 kind of.
Oh, that's a Souls-like?
Yeah.
I thought that was like an extraction shooter or something.
No, that's a Souls-like.
What the fuck?
Are you
Am I
thinking-
picturing of a completely different game?
I think there was an extraction shooter called like Rainbow Six Surge. That was
Oh.
that was like the Tom Clancy, but you're fighting aliens.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what I thought
Yeah,
this was.
I remember when they did the gameplay reveal for that, and I was watching it with Olivia, and we were both like, holy fuck, this looks terrible.
No, this game I have never seen in my entire life. Okay.
It's not bad. It's
Huh,
alright.
huh.
Mortal Shell, though? Mortal Shell is like one of the worst pieces of garbage I've ever played.
Is that another Souls-like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of this one. This looks extremely generic. Yeah, I don't know. It's like very interesting when an art style that very clearly was meant to be like unique and shocking and like haunting has now become like one of the default art styles that a game will go for. And you can just kind of feel the like punch wearing off. But I don't know. I wanna believe. This is another one that I think looked kind of interesting. South of Midnight. Do you remember this one?
Was this the, like, Bayou one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that one looked kind of interesting. I don't know, all the cutscenes, I was like, oh, they're just doing, like, the Spider-Verse, like, lower frame rate thing. I thought that looked really good. But then once they got into the gameplay, it looked, like, not as good.
Yeah, and it's like, I was so disappointed. So yeah, it starts with, like, a cutscene where she's talking to this big catfish. And it was like, I don't know, it wasn't riotously funny or anything, but it had something to it. It was kind of unique.
There was like a charm to it, at least, even if it was just like Forspoken dialogue.
Yeah, I remember you saying, oh, this is like Forspoken core, which is kind of true, but I think that can be done okay if the other stuff is like interesting.
Yeah.
Forspoken was bad because it combined it with like the most generic fantasy setting ever. Wow, is that a freaking dragon?
Yeah, just having like those like isekai type reactions to just like the most boring fantasy shit ever was like not the secret sauce that they needed.
Whereas here, this idea of it being all like Creole mythology and you're down in the bayou and stuff, like that's kind of fresh. I can't think of too many games that have that. That's pretty cool. But then, yeah, the gameplay starts, and they lose kind of the low frame rate, stylized feel, which, like, I don't know, I guess maybe that's, like, a technical thing. And then she fights just like a Dark Souls enemy. Like, it goes back to that same kind of, like, grotesque art style.
Like a weird creature. It's like,
like,
I don't really get
okay.
it. And then there's, like, a giant gator, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, then giant gator, though, that's cool. And the way she could, like, double jump and stuff, that looked fun, you know? So, again, it's like, I kind of want to have some hope for this one. It was something, at least. Yeah, I don't know. It's like you can feel the corporate influence when you watch a trailer like that. But it's like, well, we gotta show her fighting. It's gotta be clear that you, like, beat up gross monsters, or else it won't sell.
It's like, maybe this is, like, getting ahead of us a little bit, but it's just, like, a thing that, like, baffled me about the reaction to the showcase. Is that, like, I thought basically nothing looked like that interesting, and the people were like, God, this fucking blew Summer Games Fest out of the water, because they just showed the games.
Yeah, I saw that sort of feedback, too.
You're, like, 5 years old, and you can't handle people, like, talking for 10 minutes, and then once they stop talking, they show, like, I saw, like, 6 things I thought were cool at Summer Games Fest. But then, like, when just Xbox shows you a bunch of garbage, but at least they don't have Phil Spencer talk to you in between, people are like, wow, Xbox really understands that people just want to see video games.
Well, it's weird because it feels like a reaction to the era of E3, where there was, like, a lot of nonsense, and it was, like, widely mocked. And I found it very entertaining because it was often just so terrible. But, you know, when they'd have, like, skits and celebrities and big bands and stuff.
Well, I don't know, I, like, love all that stuff that's just, like, embarrassing. That, like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know, I feel like it's
to me, that's a big part of the appeal.
It's the thing of, like, gamers are just so fucking self-serious.
Well, the other thing
is, like, we just want... I don't need any of the bullshit that, like, is just trying to appeal to, like, fucking normies or whatever. It's just, like, who cares? You know how funny this trivia is in, like, 5 years when it's just, like, yeah, do you know John Bernthal was on stage with, like, his own personal dog to promote some shitty fucking Ubisoft shooter? That's hilarious.
Remember when Nintendo had M. Night come on and play Wii music?
Yeah, like...
Like, the nonsense is what you remember. You know, maybe you'll remember, like, 1 or 2 trailers per year.
Like, people remember all the, like, Reggie stuff or whatever. But mostly people just remember, like, oh yeah, Aisha Tyler kept hosting Ubisoft events for, like, 5 years. It was fucking strange.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. So yeah, first off, I just have pure nostalgia for that era.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been like that for, like, 5 years. So the fact that every year they're like, wow, they showed so many trailers, all killer, no filler. It's like, it was like that the last 2 years too. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you please comment on, like, the quality of the games? Because 75% of these were just watching a gun in first person slide and jump around and shoot people. Like, I'm not going, whoa, we saw 18 games, 7 hero shooters, 5 looter shooters. Like, who gives a shit?
Even just small moments like Jeff Keighley having to call something the Year of Shadow and sounding like really unenthused about it. It's like, yes,
There's
we
some
never
personality there.
Like, we never would have, if we didn't have horrible, terrible, embarrassing events like the Game Awards, then we never would have got my favorite Angry Joe moment. When he tries to ambush Jeff Keighley and then has no response to just like a guy with basic media training and then starts walking in front of his own footage on a green screen and going, he's fucking with me!
He's fucking with me!
He said, I didn't know there was a Final Fantasy game, but Final Fantasy did come out this year! He's fucking with me! It's just like, okay, man, yeah, like, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get this reception of the best possible game show is just like back to back to back to back to back trailers.
They
and
showed me like 20
all
trailers
of the games suck
for a bunch of stuff that didn't look very good. It's like, yeah, this was like more of a down year for like in terms of big reveals for like Summer Games Fest than previously. And there was still stuff there that I was like, oh, that seems cool. Even years when they're like, Xbox brought out all the stops, I'm like, I'm not gonna play any of this fucking garbage. Like, what do you guys want?
Oh god.
Anyways,
then they did a trailer for the WoW expansion.
Yeah, that looks
okay.
I don't
Sure.
play WoW. I only play Final Fantasy 14. Poor man's Endwalker. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, it struck me as surprising that like there was no like balance to it. There was no sense of it like being an MMO and like highlighting qualities people like about MMOs. And this is in big contrast to another trailer we'll talk about in a bit. The Elder Scrolls Online trailer.
Yeah.
It just felt like it was a trailer for like a movie,
Well, yeah, it was like,
or an action game that's like standalone or something. It was just epic scene.
when I
epic
showed you
scene.
like the Final Fantasy, like especially like the Shadowbringers and Endwalker trailers, where it's like all this cool stuff, but also like it just shows you shit that's like. Here are the new classes. Here are like the locales you're visiting. Like all the stuff that you're gonna be excited for if you like are a fan of the game and play it and whatever.
Yeah, they'd show you like a city and then show you new classes doing cool stuff within that city. And it's like, that's the gameplay.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing most of the time. I don't know, it struck me as weird. The whole time I didn't think it was going to just be a WoW expansion because it felt so non-MMO-y. But I guess that's WoW in a nutshell, right? Like, it is all about you are the cataclysmic hero that will change absolutely everything at all times.
I don't know. That was weird.
Which to me is like not the spirit of an MMO at all. But I'm of the opinion that OSRS is the best MMO of all time. So obviously I think like that.
It's Final Fantasy 14.
Then they did the trailer for Snake Eater Remake.
Yeah, which looks like good.
Which looks fine. Yeah, I mean, it's a great game.
More of the details they showed about it is interesting. Like, anytime you take damage, that's just going to be like a scar on your character model permanently for that playthrough.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Like, cool stuff like that that feels like in line with the vision the original game had.
Yes.
And you can turn the piss filter back on if you want.
Yes. Because I loved Snake Eater. I think it's my favorite Metal Gear Solid game. And what I liked about it is like how much just like weird shit is in it. Like all the scenes where you're just like hallucinating, all the just like
tree frog,
weird ass people you encounter, like the boss that makes you like look at every single NPC you've killed, and you see them like marching in a river or something. Do you remember this? Like that shit stuck with me as a kid because it's just like really weird. And at first I was kind of like, these photorealistic graphics and stuff, it just doesn't vibe with like my memories of the game at all. But the fact that you can put the piss filter back on already indicates like they have some reverence for that kind of aesthetic. And stuff like the scarring, yeah, because I always liked all the really weird details in Metal Gear games. Like, I don't know, just like the millions of times where you can call a specific person on the codex and there'll be like unique dialogue and like just all sorts of weird object interactions and stuff. Like, I don't know. That's the sort of stuff I like. Oh man, do you remember the end, the old man sniper?
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the coolest characters they've ever made. He's got the parrot and stuff. It's like, I don't know, man. It's just a weird game. I love it. And there's Sea of Thieves content update.
Yeah, I haven't played that game in a while, but that game was like super fun.
Oh, I'm
I
glad.
assume it still is.
I remember when it first came out, people were kind of like cold on it, right?
Yeah, it like took a while to become like good, but when it did, it was actually like, this game was like awesome.
No, I like that because I always thought it's just like a game that should exist. There should be like a good multiplayer pirate game where you just get to be pirates with your friends, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's awesome that they like just totally pulled all the wind from the sails of Ubisoft's Skull and Bone, and that game that just like still isn't out.
Well, didn't it come out in like some sort of early access thing and then just everyone hated it?
Skull and Bones?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure because I watched a couple. I have.
I thought it just hadn't come out because I feel like I see stuff for it every year, and I'm like, isn't that supposed to be out like years ago?
I take some sadistic pleasure in watching like, you know, bad AAA game exposed videos where they just show like really crappy glitchy footage of new games, and I go, yes. And I saw a couple of those for Skull and Bones. I just couldn't get over them calling it a quadruple A game. Like, the fact that they would just try something like that to justify an $80 game with microtransactions is so funny to me.
It's quadruple A. I don't even know why they have to justify that. Tons of people make $80 games with microtransactions and just go fuck you if you don't want it.
I think this game, it was just like really egregious, where it was like, you cannot even get a pirate boat if you don't pay more money.
That's awesome.
Just like,
Ace.
It's just completely fucked. Okay, here's the first one that I don't remember at all. Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn.
What the fuck was that?
I don't remember at all. Okay, check out these genre tags. There's no way this wouldn't have been memorable. Souls-like action adventure role playing.
Yeah, that's...
You're telling me you don't remember the Souls-like we saw?
I'm sure it is. Like, I don't know, man.
Ooh, and then one I was excited about, the remake of Age of Mythology.
Oh yeah, that was
It's
a
the year.
surprise.
It's the year of RTSs, baby. The genre is coming back. It's funny because we talked a whole lot last time about the other new RTS they announced and how it's going to be like fast-paced and short games and beginner-friendly, you know. And Age of Mythology is none of those things.
Yeah, if it's just like a straight remake of Age of Mythology, that's gonna be
It's
a shock to the system.
all like 1,000 people that are still grinding AoE and AOM are maybe gonna love it, but probably not. They'll probably just keep playing the originals. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe they will try to like make new modes or something for multiplayer that makes it like a quicker, easier experience.
Me doing the fucking like Doug Walker pointing at the screen. 'Cause I missed a pot.
Should have gone. Should have drank. Yeah, I don't know. I loved Age of Mythology as a kid. I liked it a lot more than Age of Empires, just because I loved the supernatural elements and stuff, and the god powers. Because RTS games are really hard, and I was like bad at them as a kid. But AOM, like, you can kind of cheese a lot against the AI and in the campaign by abusing god mechanics. So yeah, I don't know. I hope it's good. I hope it's good for the fans and stuff. Then there was the new Perfect Dark game.
That was weird.
That surprised me. Because I think that got announced like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's been in development hell for like a really long time. It's super strange because like I really like Perfect Dark. Like I have a twin little Joanna Dark figure and whatever, and just like it didn't click for me at all when like she took her helmet off and shit. Like who this was supposed to be. And then
yeah, it didn't feel
because it just felt like some weird like Mirror's Edge type game.
Yeah, she was doing like parkour.
Yeah, there was like
kind of
climbing
had
up
like
pipes and stuff. I like
hacking. And
yeah, some like Watch Dogs type shit. I thought it was like cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It felt just kind of like, oh yeah, this is a game.
But
and then they were like, it's Perfect Dark.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just so like surprising.
I'm looking this up now because I'm curious. So yeah, this is such a weird legacy. Obviously, the first game, N64, 2000, it was basically just like another GoldenEye.
Yeah.
And I think that formula is great, where you just run around shooting stuff, and then there's a bunch of like kind of neat thematic objectives. Even though the objectives are never really more interesting than just like throw a thing on a computer oh, you hacked it.
Yeah, it's not like super complex or
rescue
whatever,
the
but it's just like
hostage.
a pretty cool game.
Yeah, yeah, it just like felt cool, I think. That game was also sweet because it had so much content.
Yeah.
Like all the training simulators and all the unlockables, and it was nuts. And then, I actually kind of forgot about this. They also made a game called Perfect Dark in 2010 for the 360.
Oh yeah.
And this was like the remake of the original.
Perfect Dark Zero? Or was that a different one?
No, wait. Oh, okay. I'm getting like mixed up here. Why can't you just tell me a list of games, Wikipedia? Yeah, because there was Perfect Dark Zero too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Perfect Dark Zero was for the 360 as well, and then they remade Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark Zero I never played. Did you play that one?
Yeah, like once. I couldn't really tell you anything about it, honestly. I remember just kind of being like, eh.
Ooh, it has dodge rolls and cover. That's the era we were in.
Yeah, that sounds
Cover-based
about
shooter.
right. Cover shooter, 360, fucking like 2009.
Yeah.
Gears 3!
Gears 3, baby. I mean, we'll get into Gears,
Yeah,
don't worry.
And I have so much to say.
So yeah, that came out in 2005, and then the remake, and now, from Crystal Dynamics, in 2024 probably, this new game.
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
Well, Crystal Dynamics is good. I don't... It was just all so odd. It was like Watch Dogs Mirror's Edge, but I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool, and then it said it was Perfect Dark, and then I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, to me...
They're like, I'm interested. I'm curious.
It could be good. You're a fan of the Hitman games.
Yeah.
It feels like maybe they're trying to go for that kind of appeal too, right? Where it's like anything could happen.
Like a little
it could
bit.
unfold in so many different ways.
I don't know if they're like kind of trying to court that, but it definitely is at least like seems to have that strategy of like there's some ways that you can approach every scenario. Or whatever.
I should.
You are entitled simply to walk out of here from your birthright and your responsibilities. But I am here to tell you, no.
Yeah. It was like other people have been able to leave before, and he was like, because I fucking let them, bitch.
Yeah. I'm not letting you. It's different. Then they showed a trailer for Diablo 4 expansion. The trailer seemed pretty decent.
The trailer was really cool.
Always good at making cool looking trailers.
I really liked that trailer. I thought
It was
that trailer
pretty
was super sick.
freaky as hell.
Her like arm splitting apart was so fucking sweet.
And kind of, I mean, maybe I'm misremembering. Was it also kind of like Bayou-y, or
No,
was
they
it
were just,
more
like
like
in the water?
they were like paddling a canoe somewhere or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if it was Bayou. They were just like
I'm just
on
trying
the open
to
water here.
just trying to summon through sheer will a Year of the Bayou in the same way that right now it's Year of the Desert.
It's Year of Shadow.
Well, it's also Year of Shadow, but it's also Year of Desert. It can be a year of a few things.
What have we had this year that's desert besides Dune?
Dune, Furiosa,
Oh.
Sandland.
Okay, yeah, there's a few things.
There's a couple other ones too. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. For a while, I just kept saying "You're the desert, you're the desert." I'm sure there's YouTube videos where I said it.
Yeah, there's probably videos where I'm like, yeah, it's the year of the desert. But now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, is it actually the year of the desert?
I think it's kind of the Year of the Desert.
It's kind of the year of the desert. I can rock with it.
There's definitely something else. Anyways, Year of the Bayou would go hard. I like Bayou aesthetics. I like that kind of like mythos and stuff.
So we gotta play Infamous 2, bud.
Why we gotta go to New Orleans, bud?
Oh, that's it.
That'd be fun. But yeah, I'd play some Infamous too. Those games look neat. Alright, and then the new Fable had a typically comedic trailer. It was fine.
I never really played Fable, so I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
me neither.
Sure.
They seemed like they had their fans, and good for them, and hopefully
Yeah, there are
it
definitely
turns
people
out
who
good.
really, really like them, so I don't know.
Hopefully people are like ride or die.
It's another
for it,
thing that's
and
just been
it's
like
good.
developed for a really long time, so I hope it's good.
Yeah, that's true. This is another one that I can remember being announced a long
Like,
time
yeah,
ago.
It was like probably, I think initially planned to be like an Xbox One thing.
And now we're all the way up to what, Xbox S?
Yeah.
God, that's like they did all the numbers and then kept going. Sure. Okay, this is another one I do not remember. Oh no, I do remember now. Frag Punk. It's a hero shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. I don't know. It's just like it's like weird to me because I feel like everyone I know who plays Overwatch or Valorant or anything like that is like hates it and is miserable. And then they're just like, maybe the next hero shooter can fix me.
Yeah.
And, clearly, the genre must be perfect, and this must be the type of game I ought to be playing. Ooh, God bless you.
Thank you. Oh, heavens.
Uh,
That was the one.
yeah, nice. Let's see what Mom has to say. Damn, man. This was the one where it's like you could play cards.
I did it.
And it changes stuff. And I thought that already exists because I thought Northern
What the fuck
Lion
are we
was
talking
playing it. Frag Punk.
Oh, right. Sorry. I also just like was fighting Hades and then sneezed and my brain cleared.
That's fair. A brand new hero shooter doesn't really demand much
Yeah,
presence.
hero shooter. That's right. It's, okay.
Just I don't know. Yeah, like I know somebody that used to be a pro Overwatch player, and he's like, those games suck. Like, I don't know. He's the most miserable Overwatch of anyone I've ever talked to.
Son, I have to ask you, how much do you know about your relatives upon Olympus?
A little. I've been in contact with Athena, Zeus, and other members of the family ever since I first left Father's house. They've been assisting me in getting here.
No. Zagreus, what have you
Uh-oh.
done?
Uh-oh.
You've led them here?
No, they think I'm trying to escape from.
Yeah, that's true. On all their messages, they're like, can't wait to see you, pal.
Well, I can't wait to have a fucking fat blunt with you, bro.
Let's have a brewski.
Hey, bro, check out. I've sent you like a god text. A woman with her asshole spread. This and a blunt, am I right? All that and more on Olympus.
This is a human woman, too. I don't even know what's gonna happen. She
Sign-
might explode.
Poseidon.
He does. Both he and Nyx. In fact, it's Nyx who put me and Olympus in.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. They're always kind of saying one thing and doing another, these folks.
So Nyx and Hades are against each other then? And Olympus is helping you? But they don't know I'm here as far as you're aware.
That's right, more or less. Nyx and Father seem to put up with each other. Don't seem to have much of a choice. Though ever since I learned of you, Nyx has been helping me to find you. While Father's trying to stop me.
That fool. What was he thinking? What is he thinking? Do you suppose he thinks that he's protecting me from them?
But why would the gods of Nyx be pissed off at Persephone?
The gods of Nyx.
I mean, the gods of Olympus be pissed off at Persephone.
Now having met my relatives upon
Well, maybe
Olympus,
you'll learn.
Okay.
Maybe it's not even they're pissed off. But maybe she just doesn't want them to know what she's doing.
Because they're annoying.
Well, I mean, I think you can tell from the way they talk to you. They're all pretty annoying.
Then if Olympus is involved,
Mm-hmm.
it would explain a lot. I'm here.
Okay, yeah. I just asked because I was like, is this something that I should know just from Greek mythology, you know? Like,
I don't know. They like twist it up a bit.
yeah.
When I return.
Alright, good stuff, good stuff. More to say on Fragpunk?
No.
Well, I was gonna say, wasn't there already, like, some sort of hero shooter with cards? Because the clip of Northern Lion going, bury me,
That was
bury
not a
me.
hero shooter. That was just like a 1v1 shooter.
Oh, okay.
Did I do? Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm tracking him. I'm tracking him.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Great clip.
Thank you, librarian. Thank you, librarian.
Must have been those natural causes mortals talk about.
Yeah, that's a good
Good
line.
bit.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably.
The thing is that it always was.
What else can you yap with? Achilles.
Your father won't observe. Power that once sealed away the Titans.
Your Highness, I just wanted to apologize because
Poor Deuce. Should have given her something. Come on.
I don't. It's like,
She's too freaked out all the
people in this
time.
game talk too much when you're also trying to like do a let's play.
I know that Nyx has been a bit.
That's okay. I can read all the dialogue at the pace you're going.
You, boy, have a.
Pleasure doing business then. Anything I can do to help you?
I fear my muse has long since lost to me, my...
Wait, you found her?
Well, this was back when I was still alive,
It's
you
the Tale
understand.
of Orpheus.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate the sentiment, my...
I really like the sort of casting of all sorts of different Greek myths into like,
Don't have enough gemstones.
I don't know, just this sort of state where it's like already happened and most of them are just kind of like moping about it, you know?
Yeah, they've already experienced like
Seems like a good
literal
deal.
capital T tragedy,
Mm-hmm.
the origins of tragedy.
And because it's like all these classic tragedies just sort of end like, and then immortal forevermore she mourned the
I
loss,
think that she can be the judge of
and it just ends, and you're like, well, what were they doing? They just sitting around moping?
There was no
Yes.
She has been in danger all along.
Hmm.
Conceal.
Ugh, what a mess. How are we going to fix this?
The Olympians maintain belief that you are trying to reach them. I trust we can sustain.
Yeah, I
this
guess the Olympians just think you like suck.
I'll be careful.
And like, well, I guess he's not here yet.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, I guess you got killed somewhere up there, man. That's okay. Just try
Have
again.
another boon.
Underworld's hard to get out of. Because they also just think he's like Nyx's son.
Ah, yeah. Interesting.
It's only a matter of time, I suppose.
They're just like, oh yeah, your dad loves weird pussy down there, huh? Anyways.
Here's another boon.
I have no more darkness. The power of darkness.
That's like both the edgiest and least edgy statement of all time.
It's,
I've no more darkness.
it's just like Kingdom Hearts every game.
Ooh, another thing you can upgrade.
Just gonna hit another shield run.
Yeah, shield run is fun.
I'm just doing whatever has like the darkness thing on it, because that means we get bonus darkness for doing a run with it.
That's a good element. I kind of like that, because otherwise, like, the decision making kind of gets tough, and also the temptation to just kind of like one trick, you know, can sometimes be tough.
Yes, a little bit, if you must know.
Challenge.
Oh yeah, I guess I did lose last time.
You got this. I got a good feeling about this one.
Xbox.
Oh, what's the opening boon? Oh, let's get fucking drunk. Let's go. All right, Winter Burrow. Do you remember this one?
No.
It was like a cozy core game. You are a mouse that is fixing up a house.
Oh, that one looked cute.
It looked fine. What cracked me up was
I like that you were a mouse. I thought that was cool.
at the end. You remember you go and like meet your mouse friend because you like repair the bridge to her house.
Oh yeah.
And then like an owl picks her up and flies off. And
Yeah,
it's like,
that's fucked
I don't know why that made me laugh so hard. And then this game called Mixtape. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh yeah, it
was
was
like,
just like
this-
youths biking and stuff.
Yeah, listen to music. Look at all these artists we got.
Yeah.
There was like a couple artists that I was like, ooh.
Yeah, they like
I
Joy
don't-
Division and stuff.
Yeah, Joy Division. Yeah, that one kind of struck me as weird. I was gonna be like, it was like Shushu or something, but no, it was the OG Depression band. Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine being too enthused about this.
It seems Life is Strange adjacent.
Yeah, it kind of feels like they saw Life is Strange and they were like, well, what if we took out all the like murder mystery stuff and like tragedy and it was just vibes.
I mean, I'm sure there's like stuff going on though. Like,
Maybe, I don't know.
I can't see them just like. It would make no sense to play your hand on that. I think, anyways, I could see it just having some sort of like drama
But
aspect
then-
of just like.
He died drunk driving.
Not even like that. Just like growing up, you can never truly go home, brother.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it'd be good.
It was all
These
very
sorts-
like, this is our last summer together. This is our last year as teens. We gotta have a freaking good time.
Yeah.
To me, it's just pretty set up for just having the like, man, when you grow up, it's just like everything changes around you really fast. And you go back to the neighborhood you're from, and everything's different, and no one has time to do the stuff they used to. We used to listen to Joy Division and ride our skateboards and cause trouble at high school, and now I work at Tesco.
See, if it was a movie, I would agree with you 100% that that's the direction it like has to go.
Let's make some waves, right?
But it feels like with video games, it's like there seems to be a temptation to not subvert, you know, like.
Yeah, but I mean that's not really like a subversion. There's tons of coming of age stories like that. I mean that's basically just what Stand By Me is about.
Maybe subversion is the wrong word, but like
that is the thesis of Stand By Me, and that's one of the most famous.
For sure. Yeah, subversion is the wrong word. It's almost like an anti-subversion where it's like, I don't know, there's so many video games that are just like, it's an idyllic experience. And it just is an idyllic experience. And it's meant to be, you know, all these like cozy core games, farming sims, life sims. They don't need like a second act. They don't need something that makes you feel like a different emotion.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I feel like I could go in either direction. Then the game that I think hands down is the most well executed example of its genre, and the closest thing on this showcase to a perfect game. Can you guess what I'm talking about?
No, because I don't remember anything that was in this showcase offhand.
One of the most autistic games ever made. Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh, yeah.
I think those games are so cool. I think it's just kind of beautiful that for decades now, they've like never tried to really make them more exciting to a mainstream audience. They're just like, it's even more accurate and even more types of planes are being simulated. And it's never been like combat. It's never been anything military, anything based on destruction. It's all about doing like positive, constructive things with your plane. Transporting people, spraying crops, rescue missions, fire extinguishing. Like, it is exciting. I think, you know, obviously those things are kind of exciting in themselves, but like, the focus has always been on like real things that people are really doing with planes. They even said like live out your fantasy of a career in aviation, which is so funny to me. Because that's just a job. Like, you could just also have gone to get that job. Live out your fantasies of like being an accountant or I don't know. It's kind of beautiful to me. How much reverence it has. Because, you know, I say that. You could have just gone to be a pilot. But most people can't go to be a pilot. Like, there is actually pretty rigorous, like, physical tests and stuff. If you have bad eyesight or whatever.
You get to be so many different kinds of pilot. It's kind of crazy. They have all these, like, cargo stuff. You can be, like, a commercial airliner. You can be a fucking jet fighter. Like, you can do anything, basically.
And I think for the jet fighter, though, like I said, you're never like bombing people.
Yeah,
I think the jet fighter stuff is like you do air shows.
Yeah, it's you just go like really fucking fast.
Yeah. It's kind of beautiful to me.
You just get to be like a snowbird.
I don't think I would ever be into these games myself. It's like not one of my special interests, as many as I have. Planes has never been one of them.
If there was a game this high quality, but for like being a train guy, I would definitely be tempted to.
Yeah. I mean, there kind of is. The train simulator games kind of go at it from a different angle. I think they appeal more to people who build model trains as a hobby.
Yeah.
And it's much more about like getting specific routes replicated and stuff.
Yeah, rather it'd be way more just like, I want to be a guy who has like a 9 to 5 doing like the Shinkansen or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So there is that series too. That's Densha to Go. Which one time my friend Olivia, not your friend Olivia, but my friend Olivia.
Yeah, the other trans Olivia.
The other trans Olivia, who loves trains and loves planes and is actually in training to be a pilot. She played Densha to Go for the N64 on stream for us once. and it's like very cool because it simulates all of the technical details of driving a train commercially in Japan and just going station to station, picking up and dropping off people. But it's so accurate that it just looks like intensely stressful because you have to like get to the stations within like 2 seconds and you have to stop within like 1 foot. You have to do all these things perfectly or else they yell at you. But yeah, that's a big series in Japan. There's arcade cabs for it where it has like just a replica of the actual train. And you get to use all the equipment.
This is why the shield fucking sucks, because there's like so many of these, there's just some like never gonna use. I still take that.
Get an epic.
Dude, but I'm not gonna take
But
it. It's
you,
for the
you don't
shield
wanna,
special.
You don't want to do the special? Oh well. Okay, and then Elder Scrolls Online, the trailer for that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Everything I want an MMO trailer to be, because it actually shows like the gameplay exclusively. You know, like even the moments that were like cinematic had the feel of the characters just doing like in-game emotes and just like role-playing something silly rather than something like insane and epic and cataclysmic. The focus was very much on like do fun things with your friends, explore
it's like
towns.
One of the only MMO trailers I've seen in recent years that isn't fully focused on like the NPCs that like populate the game, and instead is entirely just like, and then it's just you and you do stuff with your homies, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's why Elder Scrolls Online probably is like still alive and is differentiated from everything else, because it's not doing the like big swing story stuff.
No, yeah, I agree.
Which like WoW kind of was pushing the most before anyone, and then Final Fantasy XIV is now the only one that's like any good at it.
I also just noticed something. I think we should turn down the audio in our mix.
Yeah?
I think you're getting trumped by desktop audio.
Awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I think this has been the same audio it's been the whole time.
I don't know. I just looked over. Maybe you were just extra quiet there for a bit. But it was like the mic was lower than the desktop audio.
Based.
Anyways.
You have to strain to hear me.
It's worth it. No, I think honestly, like, it's very, very interesting to think about how MMOs market themselves. And I think, again, it's like one of those things where you can either appeal to fans of the genre that may or may not already be there, or you can try to like broaden the appeal to people that just go like, wow, epic, and then are kind of tricked into playing an MMO. Yeah, I don't know. I was very, very charmed by it. It made me like really interested in what the game is actually like. But as I said, I think OSRS is the best MMO of all time, so my tastes are maybe atypical.
Yeah, you want a game that has no story and is just tasks.
I mean, OSRS does have a story. It's just that the story is like kind of low stakes and quirky, and is all about
Not
just
story
like
focused.
Yeah. You can skip the story just fine, and you're not like dragged into cutscenes or whatever. I don't know. The story in OSRS is mostly just like the mayors of two towns are feuding, and one has like beset a plague upon the other one, and they're both huge jerks, and you gotta sort it out. Then there was New Life is Strange game.
That cracked me up. As someone who has played through Life is Strange 1 a couple times.
Oh, really? I didn't. I thought you just had seen like footage of them or something.
No,
I didn't
me
know
and
you actually
Patrick
played
have
them.
played through like the full game.
Yeah. And
It's like
not
pretty,
impressed?
It's pretty bad. I think they're like pretty terrible games. They're just like stupid as fuck. I don't know.
I think
It's such.
I think Michael and Haley played through a couple of them.
I feel like weird shitting on them almost, because there's just so many like queer people and stuff who are like, I felt so seen by a moment in this game, but I'm like, this is such dumb dog shit for idiots. Like, I don't know, man.
It's like I kind of want to respect them just on the basis of the type of game it is. I think is neat. That it's essentially like an adventure game, right?
Yeah.
You're going around collecting items and then engaging in dialogue to solve a mystery. Just like Grim Fandango. Just like Escape from Monkey Island. Games that I consider shining pinnacles of what video games can be. But yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean it's automatically good. If the writing sucks and the characters suck, then what can you do? Oh, here's one that I thought was actually very exciting. The Indiana Jones game.
Yeah, I thought
Indiana
that
Jones
looks.
in a great
I don't know.
sequel.
It's like anytime they showed the actual gameplay in brief flashes, I was like, that looks very janky.
Yeah, it looked very, very generic.
But like
And
the
sort of
actual like
antiquated.
scene they showed was like, this feels like an Indiana Jones film more than like anything since the original 3.
No, yeah. When
was
they
like-
they had the German guy like mocking him and stuff.
Yeah,
and
they had all this stuff that felt like really charming. Like I don't know. It was
the
just
little
like,
bit
man.
where you think she's giving over the stone and then she just hands him a live grenade.
Yeah,
like,
all
that
that
was
weird,
really
like,
fun.
Sort of like madcap stuff.
yeah. That's the stuff that makes the first 3 movies just so watchable. Like every scene just has so many little charming things in it. What it made me realize though is like I just wish they made a good Indiana Jones movie again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care to play a video game. Maybe
mean,
I'll
if
just
they're-
watch the cutscenes.
If they're this insistent on it looking like Harrison Ford, then I'd rather it be a video game than
True.
a creepy de-aged creature man.
Yeah. But it's just like if they understand that this is, you know, the charming aspects and stuff, they can do that again. It just doesn't need to be like a special effects bonanza like Crystal Skull was.
Bonanza.
Bonanza. I'm tired of these bonanzas. So yeah, I don't know. Could be good. Mecha Break. That was the mecha thing that we saw at Summer Games Fest as well. I don't know.
Seems great for mecha fans. I
Seems
don't
great
know.
for mecha fans. Like I was saying though, it's like everybody already plays the Gundam games. It's gonna be really tough going up against that IP, not just like of the game series, but fans of the Gundam franchise, which has been running since the 70s. Like, I don't know. It's a tall order. And then this game called Wu Chan Fallen Feathers, which was like a Souls-like set in ancient China.
China is so back.
China, it seems like maybe they're anticipating ancient Japan fatigue, and now they're pivoting to ancient China. Which is smart to me because you can do kind of the same thing of drawing from a bunch of different myths and having generally the same kind of aesthetic, the same kind of settings. But you get a whole new pack of myths and stuff to play with and history and such. And if you can court the Chinese market, you know, that's just infinite money, potentially.
Well, I don't know. They're pretty busy spending all their money on every Hoyoverse game.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I don't know how easy it is to get a piece of that pie these days.
That's a good point. It can't hurt, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see explorations more of China yokai equivalents and China mythology and I don't know. Yeah, it could be good. I don't know.
Could be good.
This game called Avowed. I do not remember this at all.
Yeah, this is like before Microsoft bought Bethesda. They just bought. I can't remember the studio's name now. They made
Obsidian.
Obsidian, yeah, the people who
I
made
just looked at it.
people who made the Outer Worlds. And before that, they were like
Oh.
the team that did Fallout New Vegas.
Oh wow. Okay.
And that was them basically being
Those
like
are really beloved games.
they were gonna go. We have Bethesda at home. Give us a Fallout and a Skyrim. But now they have Bethesda. And they also have a new Fable game coming out, so it was really funny to show Avowed and Fable in the same thing, because it's like... It's like, they got a lot of Western RPGs if you're into that. I'm just not, because all of them look bad. But
Yeah,
that's
I
just
don't
me.
remember anything about this one.
I'm definitely like... I mostly just want to play like turn-based games.
Yeah.
And also, like, when I have played Western RPGs, I've been like, wow, this fantasy is really boring.
I don't remember this one at all either. Atomfall.
Could be anything.
Oh, it was the one that was like, oh, it's Britain, but post-apocalyptic.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, you that Peaky Blinders, love? Oh, I'll give you something that'll get your rock crooked.
Right, crooked. That's foul. Then Assassin's Creed Shadows, Ancient Japan.
I'd probably just gonna sooner play Ghost of Tsushima, which I already have, but like that game could be cool. I don't know.
I guess, but like, are the Assassin's Creed games fun? They don't really seem fun to me.
I had fun with them in like the PS3 era. I feel like now they're like too big.
Yeah, they're mostly like open world games.
Yeah.
And then it's just like you're just like running from rooftop to rooftop to like set a waypoint.
That era
of
open world was a lot more palatable, especially now when you just see like how fucking big everything is. And like, remember when a map was like really small and you could just do a bunch of stuff with it?
Yeah, no, like a huge map like is not exciting to me anymore. Now it's not like, oh my gosh, look at all the places I can go. It's just like, what a fucking chore. Like,
I mean, like sometimes it's still us. Like in the Spider-Man game, that map could have been bigger and I would have been happy. But it's also mostly down to the fact that like it's fun to move in that game.
yeah. And it's like New York, so it's like cool. I don't know. Stalker 2. Sure.
My biggest opinion coming away from that was just like this game looks like it's too easy to play. The Stalker games are mostly known for being like the most Eurojank of Eurojank.
Did you die at the same time?
Yeah.
That's funny. There's nobody here. Oh.
Yeah, I got revived.
Oh, okay. So you got revived like during. You got revived like during the Hydra dying.
Yeah.
I guess. I
know just before it went to say Hydra Vanquished, it just showed like plus 64, just like me reviving. Yeah, this run sucks shit, and I'm gonna die, but it's fine.
It'll work out well. We're almost through talking about Xbox games.
Okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, I get that they're not ever gonna make a game that really is like the movie Stalker, because that would appeal to me and like 5 other people. And so yeah, okay, yeah, you gotta like shoot people and scavenge and stuff. But I think at least it should still be very like slow and like not
they
like
are
a
like
power fantasy.
They are pretty slow, just like suffering games.
Like that's good.
And also
I like
just
slow
like
and suffering.
have kind of prohibitive control schemes and systems, which is why people like them.
Yeah. They can't make it too modern. They can't make it too like sleek and wow and I'm doing so much cool shit.
I don't know. It's
it should be as close in spirit as to possible as throwing like a cloth attached to a lug nut and then very slowly walking over to where it landed. Like that sort of like slowness and deliberateness, I think, is the only thing that would make me interested in a game called Stalker.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
And good zone appeal. It's got to feel like a zone. Tell me if you want me to make a standalone hour-and-a-half video on the history of zones as a concept and what does or doesn't make a good zone. 'Cause I'll fucking do it. Don't even try me. Actually, I already did.
Ask for it so she stops ranting to me about it. When I call a game open zone, and you're like, "What? You can't call it that."
You don't say the word zone, okay? I already did though. If you watch my review for Heavenly Delusion, I talk at length about what makes a good zone and why
Didn't
they
you already
nailed
rant
the
about
zone
this in the
appeal.
Summer Games Fest video too?
I did, yeah. And then I think also IRL to you.
Yeah.
Outside of recording. Anyways, then the final game they showed was the Gears of War prequel. Gears of War E-Day.
I was fucking laughing at that.
I cracked up so hard when I realized they were playing Mad World again. They like literally...
Gears of
War... They just can't think of a second idea.
The words Gears of War prequel is already like... You guys have lost the fucking plot.
The barrel is dry. So yeah, I don't know. Those games have never interested me. It's like everything I dislike about FPSs. hardcover based, very slow, very much like power fantasy. Just big bullet sponge enemies. Maybe I'm mischaracterizing it. I don't know. I played like the first couple because friends of mine bought them. And I did not enjoy them at all.
Bro, the story is so freaking emotional.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no.
I think that was the funniest part, is that like the big thing that people talked about for years was just like when Dom dies in Gears 3. That's like so fucking sad. So all they could think to do was like game where he's back because it's a prequel.
And it's sad because like his kid is dead or something, and he looked at the picture. I don't know, man. It's like just the emotional range of video games just feels like so stunted and like 20 years out of date compared to like movies.
I mean, there's so many video games that want to have that emotional range and then get called like walking simulators or whatever.
Yeah, but
and there's also tons of video games
like...
who want to have that emotional range, but like they only know how to do it through the lens of the military.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just shit that's like, if you saw a movie trailer that's that cliche and that on the nose, like it would just be like widely mocked.
Yeah. Gamers have no standards.
The gamers have no standards. Okay. Alright, now speedrun. We're gonna just look at other stuff that was announced in other conferences, and I'll mention them if they look interesting.
Okay, I haven't seen like any of it. But
No, me neither. Yeah. There's an Avatar game that Ubisoft is making.
Oh yeah, they're releasing DLC for it.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh yeah, yeah, that already came out.
I feel like maybe even on here I've complained before about it. I was like, an Avatar game sounds fucking awesome. Then it's like, not even like play as a Navi. It's like play someone who's been jacked in to be a Navi and design your own Navi, and then the game is all first person.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, I don't. Honestly, I know I've complained about like the cozy games, but I kind of just want to like help my village. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, picture a game where, putting the human invasion aside, you just live the lifestyle of the Na'vi, and there's, like, hunting quests, and, like, you do the rituals, and, like...
That's the shit I would do.
It doesn't even need to be, like, comfy core, it can be, like, an intense action game.
Yeah, it can still have tons of fighting and, like, intensity.
Yeah, but, like, I think that's what the Avatar diehard fans want. You make that shit, like, an MMO, too? You're just doing quests to go hunt, like, big beasts and stuff. People would go crazy. Then some Prince of Persia games. There's the Rogue Prince of Persia, which is like a roguelike platformer that kind of harkens back to the original Prince of Persia. Kind of interesting. They showed a Skull and Bones content update.
I guess that game is out. My bad.
There's an iPhone Assassin's Creed game called Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Okay.
There's a game called Battlecore Arena, which looks like a hero shooter. I just assume it is a hero shooter.
I mean, it's from Ubisoft, so there's a good chance.
They're making a Monopoly game for major consoles.
Oh, okay.
That's confusing. Okay, that was Ubisoft. PC gaming show. I have no idea what any of this stuff is. Oh, a new Tales game.
Oh.
Tales of Seikyu.
I'm surprised I missed that announcement.
Wait. Am I stupid? I think it's not related to the Tales franchise.
Okay.
It just had anime art. Yeah, no, this is a comfy core game about managing a yokai farm.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because usually those games have like a English title.
Yeah, no.
Tales of Arise. Like
yeah. Tales of Seikyu. Yeah, I got totally tricked. Yeah. Oh, Streets of Fortuna. That's the game I showed you.
Oh, yeah,
It's being co-created by the Dwarf Fortress guy. So
Yeah.
that actually could be very interesting. Not that I likely will play it, because all of those games are, like, insanely intense, and you have to spend, like, hundreds of hours really kind of learning how they work.
Yeah, but, like, Ryan will play it.
But Ryan will play it, and he'll tell me about it, and then
I'll
I'll
go,
be
wow,
happy.
it's so cool.
Yeah. I'll go, wow, maybe if I become independently wealthy and I don't have to work a job, it's a game I'd play.
Yes. That's why you gotta start promoting this channel, bud.
Yeah.
But
like, comment, subscribe. My God.
$250 $50,000 for 30 seconds of ad time on the next Summer Games Fest.
You know, it's like I've just like never made an effort to promote my YouTube channel because it just feels so cringe. And the prospect of actually being popular is like so terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Like actually having a lot of viewers, I think would just kind of make it suck. But it's like funny that I don't think I've ever sincerely said subscribe to the channel. I've only ever ironically made fun of the like, and hey, if you're having fun and want a little more Hades action, make sure to ring the bell or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever actually
Before I get to
sincerely
number
asked
one in this
people.
video, did you know that small acts of happiness are proven to make you a better person?
Subscribe to the channel.
And if you want to see what I look like in real life, follow me on Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT. I have that baked into my fucking skull, the goddamn chills plug. It's so funny.
Dylan
Random
is
acts of kindness are
chillin'.
proven to make you a happier person. So subscribe to my channel, and then just like number one, the Butthole Strangler.
They did a trailer for a game that I've actually seen a trailer for before, and it looked kind of interesting, called Screenbound. And the premise here is it's a 3D game where you're walking around an environment, but you also have like a Game Boy, and you're playing the Game Boy, which is like a 2D platformer. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
It looks kind of neat. I think there's potential there because you're like solving puzzles by influencing the worlds back and forth.
Yeah, that looked like really hard to
Yeah.
like wrap your brain around, but it sounded cool.
I like games like that. I like games where, I don't know, it's just like a weird thing to get your head around, and then you do neat, kind of low stakes stuff.
Yeah.
So that's cool. There's a few of these games I recognize. I don't know, it's like, when I'm scrolling through this, I feel like maybe we are way better serviced by watching the PC gaming show. Because these are mostly just kind of like indie games that, for all I know, could be like really interesting, that I'd want to like learn about at least. But it's like more fun to just kind of watch like the hugest, biggest budget stuff and be like, wow, that looks terrible. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. There's like a joy to the cynicism of it all, and also just like there's just so many. I like watched so many indie game shows that now I'm just kind of burnt out on them. I think because of the era where everything was just like a farming game, or a cozy game, or a game about being gay.
Yeah, and it feels like we're kind of moving out of that now, and now everything is a roguelike.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
Well, I don't know. It's also been like an era of everything is a roguelike, which is still I'm also kind of burnt out on, but there's just every once in a while one comes out that's like, oh, this is like actually good. I can't hate.
Yeah. It's a genre that has a lot of potential for me, at least. Where at the very least, I want to like learn how they all work, and kind of like how they implement different roguelike mechanics. Because I just think it's like fascinating as a genre. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of neat stuff here. Apparently, some sort of Escape from Tarkov update or enhancement or something. I think that game is really cool.
My favorite part of that game is when Northern Lion accidentally did the racist spray.
Oh, yeah.
And then was going like,
Yeah, it just seems really neat in that it's like extremely, extremely deep strategically. Like, the amount of things you can consider. It kind of reminds me of, have you heard of the old shooter America's Army?
No.
Or America's Army Online?
It's too boomer core for me.
So this was actually like an official recruiting tool put out by the US Army, which is disgusting.
That's crazy.
But then in a show of I don't really want to like credit them too much. It almost feels like this happened by accident. Instead of making it like a raw power fantasy where they're like, wow, being in the army is cool, they made it the most like brutally realistic, like slow-paced. You had to do shit like to play different classes online. You had to do like a training camp for them, which apparently was like very boring and tedious and took like 5 hours.
That's so cool.
They just made it like punishing. But then this was definitely accidental. It ended up being like a very weirdly like skill ceiling is high because of kind of like broken things game. My cousin was really into it.
Oh.
This is like a Calvin core game to an absolute T.
Yeah.
And he was showing me stuff like, so they had all sorts of mechanics like, if you brace your gun, your like aim wobbles less, which is kind of standard nowadays, but at the time was like pretty compelling and new. And there was like 8 different ways, like you could stand, or you could crouch, or you could like lean forward and crouch, or you could go full prone, and then when you're full prone, you could like swap to your back, and like all these very like intricate little things. But then it also led to like, oh yeah, so if I do this for 1 frame and then tick to this on the next frame, I can get like a steady shot while like jump spinning. Like all these like weird broken mechanical combinations. And stuff like they put a lot of work into the audio, like directional audio, and the relative loudness of audio through like walls and stuff. And then they made it that like every different floor had a different sound.
Oh man.
So Calvin would like lock in with headphones and be like, okay, there's a guy like in this room on the floor beneath me walking in this direction. And then he's like, so you just throw a grenade into this hole and that like kills him.
That's crazy.
Like that's the sort of gameplay it was. Like it ended up being
'Cause
very
now
not realistic.
That seems like pretty standard sort of stuff now in like Rainbow Six Siege and Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which are both games I played a lot of, although I liked Siege way more than Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of stuff that, like, I feel like this game actually was kind of an influence. Because it came out... there was, like, a whole franchise. I feel like most people were only really interested in the original ones. 2002, the first one came out. And was kind of this, like, weird cult hit among, like, FPS freaks. Anyways, all of this is to say that when my friend Slug was explaining Tarkov to me, I was like, oh, it's like America's Army. Like, it appeals to the same kind of freak where there's just so many mechanics that you can abuse in so many, like, weird ways. And then there's, like, a huge strategy meta on top of that where you just assume everybody is doing this stuff. That seems very cool to me. What else we got? Drug Dealer Simulator 2.
2.
What the fuck?
We already had 1.
I guess so. Alright.
It's like a funny idea for a game. Just be like, do you want to sell crack in the community? You can be like that guy from Black Dynamite.
Taking Ambient Simulator 2. Hatman's Revenge. Thoughts? Still going through PC gaming show stuff.
A whole entire sack of something.
A game called Lorne Vale, which is set in a desert. Year of the Desert.
Oh, Year of the Desert.
Year of the Desert, baby.
A game about Lorne Michaels.
Ooh, being stranded in a desert. Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
All Systems Dance. Is this a rhythm game? Always got to be curious about a rhythm game, you know? They're making a explicitly Denpa themed game. Did you ever hear about a game called like Needy Girl Overdose?
No, it sounds gross.
It was kind of like a cult hit among a certain type of freak.
Yeah, it sounds like it's for demons.
I think I can't remember the gameplay exactly, but I think it was like you. Oh wait, I wanna see.
You let Mother go because you feared Olympus would run off and not respond well to the circumstances if they did.
Be grateful they have not found out as yet for all your meddling. You do not know them as well as you think. Ask yourself why she left Olympus and how. Or better yet, ask her.
Sure.
Well, she seems quite lovely, so knowing you, you probably tricked her into signing a pact to come join you or something. Since you weren't allowed on Olympus, why not have Olympus come to you?
He's not gonna take well to that.
Surprisingly not distant from the truth. I took her, boy. I took her down with me. Is that what you wish to hear?
And this, of course, is the classic
Come.
story.
Bring
You
forth
know,
the
this
anger
is
then.
the myth that introduces her and stuff is Hades coming down with her, and then she leaves, and it's like an analogy of the seasons or something.
Well, yeah, because she stays during the winter and leaves during the spring.
Yeah, and her return marks the coming of spring, which is, visually represented here. It's a big snowy area, and then when you head to her little cozy farm. Man, why isn't Hades 2 just a farm with Persephone? No, what's her name?
That is Persephone.
It is Persephone, okay. It should just be Farm with Persephone Simulator. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Needy Girl Overdose. I think it's like you have an e-girl girlfriend, and you just have to like put up with her bullshit, and that's like the whole game.
That sounds horrible. I already do that in real.
God, I'm like so far from an e-girl. Oh, Needy Streamer Overload. People also ask, what is the point of Needy Streamer Overload? Yeah, it's a visual novel.
It's definitely for like real horn dogs.
The game was initially titled Needy Girl Overdose, but this was changed in preparation for the Western release. And then yeah, so this company is now making this Denpa rhythm game, where the interface is like responding to DMs.
That's horrible.
It looks so sick. What's it called? What's it called? Everybody's been talking about it on Twitter.
Everybody.
Well, the people I follow.
Yeah, like Sue.
No, actually, not even Sue. Sue isn't interested in new rhythm games.
Oh, that's true.
Sue is like the biggest hater of new rhythm games. Oh, I can go to their like Steam page or whatever, I guess.
Oof, we made it. I didn't think we were gonna make
nice.
it.
Yeah.
We got some very late saves. Getting the duo boon that makes all your boons epic, and then getting the double hit from the Daedalus Hammer helped a lot. And then just getting plus 40% damage to bosses off your stuff with knockaway. It was like, oh, we can actually do this.
That's the beauty of roguelikes,
Yeah, we had to slum it out a little bit, but we got there.
Always get something going. Yun Syndrome. Rhythm Psychosis.
Rhythm Psychosis.
Is a rhythm game adventure about a psychotic hikikomori girl. Also an avid anonymous poster. Oh, you're not replying to DMs. You're making posts.
Oh, you're a poster.
You're a poster on like a 4chan-esque. So yeah, I think the rhythm game space is very exciting right now. Shit's crazy. And of course the music is all Denpa music that would make your brain crawl out of its ears if you ever heard it.
My overbearing mother. None of it. I would have left the mountain voluntarily, except
Father absconded with you, didn't he? Dragged you down with him into the underworld. So if Olympus were to find that out, I shudder to think of the consequences.
the fool is trying to protect me even now. It wasn't he who absconded with me, my son. It's more complicated even than that. I was content to leave. To make my life within the underworld. With your father.
Oh, got sleepy.
So essentially, you ran away from home to live with him. No disrespect, but did you realize what you were getting yourself into?
We have a tendency to be impetuous when we are younger, Zagreus. I heard all about your father before we met. Admired paintings of him. It was very awkward at first. But he had a bluntness I fancied. A sense of principle. I much preferred him to his brothers, I can tell you that.
So, then you secretly left Mount Olympus to be with the god of the dead in the underworld, and Olympus never found out. What do you suppose would happen if they did?
I think there would be war between Olympus and your father, Zagreus, if they found out. Especially now. existence could be wiped from this world, so can we all.
So it makes sense. If Father, he agrees with you and thinks that leaving you in hiding here, that it's the only way he can prevent that war.
Everybody's pretty reasonable in the end.
So single-minded as he was, might have followed such a line of reasoning as that. Oh, Zagreus, what have I done?
Interesting. So how many clears are we up to now?
6.
6. Okay. Can see it
It's
kind of
like-
coming together.
I don't know. It's a very, very interesting wrinkle to that tale. Instead of just having to be like, well, I just kind of wanted to be like not there. And since he isn't just around these freaks all the time, he's actually like pretty fucking normal.
Yeah. No, I like anything that kind of highlights. I don't know. I find this is very interesting with like kind of biblical reinterpretations too. Nosgard gets into this, where it's like if you kind of just think about how these characters in mythos behave with sort of like a social reading, they're all like psychos.
Yeah.
They're all just doing like completely insane shit. And things that kind of like bring that social realism to it and be like, okay, well, what if you were like a just a regular reasonable person? How would you navigate all this stuff?
Inspiring.
That's very interesting. Come on, Orpheus. Get some shit going. No, wait. No. Dun, 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 no. That's the Ballad of Orpheus in the underworld.
The ancient castle. Here's the catch of the day.
Orpheus, play Powerhouse.
Child, quickly now, before you go. I know how all of this must look. I know that I was true to her, Persephone, and that I think fondly on the time she spent with us.
Of course, Nyx. Though, why did she really leave the underworld, do you think? Besides, because of me. So what if she thought I died at birth?
She did not feel that she belonged. It was a very difficult adjustment she was forced to make. And she feared that she would inevitably end up caught between Olympus and this realm. That she might start a war.
A war. War's not really fun for less, I understand.
Nyx has
Must have
big
been a real
boobs,
burden,
you
too.
say. Very interesting.
I mean, you can see them.
Yes. This is a great game. Much to consider.
You've said more than enough.
Alright. Well, 2 good runs.
Yeah, 2 wins is nice.
Discussed,
'Cause last episode was 2 losses.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Good stuff. Discussed some good games. Not really. A few. And what do we got left? What's still to come? The frickin' Nintendo Direct they got announced.
Yeah.
The power of night.
Does this site have a schedule? Yes, it does. This site is great. This is gamesrecap.io, which I remembered seeing advertised on Reddit.
Ready, Exegrid?
It's
And,
got all the secrets.
It's just got everything. So none of the other ones seem that interesting. Nintendo, save us!
Save us, Nintendo!